Brexit trade boost. Liam Fox reveals the countries queuing up for post-Brexit trade talks. The International Trade Secretary said countries were keen to understand the situation the UK will find itself in when the government finally manages to free itself from the clutches of the European Union. Speaking exclusively to Express.co.uk, Dr. Fox said he had negotiated with each WTO member over Britain's future trade schedules, their rights and obligations, as it comes away from the EU's arrangements. The top Brexiteer also said he had held talks with several countries the EU does not have trade agreements with. The US, Australia and New Zealand are all hoping to strike a trade deal with Britain as soon as the country leaves the EU. Dr. Fox said, "What was interesting in Buenos Aires was the great interest in the United Kingdom. We weren't short of bilateral meetings. Everyone wanted to talk to the UK about Brexit and our plans post-Brexit. These meetings are held every 2 years. By the time we get to the next one, we'll have already left the European Union. So, countries wanted to know what we think about the prospect of a trade agreement with the EU and what did it mean to Britain's wider engagements. It was a very, very useful time, in a very intensive way, to give our views to a whole range of our partners and allies around the world about Britain's future positioning." The International Trade Secretary had previously said the government will immediately agree 40 free trade deals with other non-EU countries the minute Britain quits the EU in 2019. He insisted the UK would easily be able to copy all of the EU's 40 external trade deals the second after midnight on Brexit Day in March 2019. While speaking at a Conservative Party conference fringe event in Manchester. While sitting down with Express.co.uk, Dr. Fox said that further work had been done to ensure his promise to cheering Tory activists can still be fulfilled. He said, "There are a number of agreements we need to look at. We had discussions about what are called our schedules at the World Trade Organization, that's effectively our legal basis to trade and the obligations we have. We're negotiating with all the WTO members about Britain's new schedules. We trade on EU schedules at the moment. A lot of our conversations were around the technicalities of that. Mostly they went very well. It was a matter of me explaining our methodology. Secondly, we were talking to countries where we already have a trade agreement through the EU and we will have to transition that into UK law. There are 40 of those, so that's a lot of conversations." Despite being kept busy with these negotiations, Dr. Fox also found time to ensure he spoke to countries without trade agreements with Brussels to ensure Britain prospers outside the bloc. The International Trade Secretary added, "Of course, we have the new countries that we might want to have trade agreements with after we leave the EU, where the EU doesn't have them, that's the United States, Australia and New Zealand. I was in Australia and New Zealand and have met with the U.S. Trade Rep Bob Lighthizer at the meetings in Buenos Aires.